Good morning and welcome. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's the 26th day of April 2022. It's 61 degrees and sunny here at Site B. I am the OGGM, your humble guide to all tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, and general internet nonsense. The weather changed, so I have a migraine. What else is new? That's my life. So apparently the big D&D news is Elon Musk bought Twitter. Our world's Tony Stark, or the closest thing we'll have to Tony Stark, bought Twitter, and we're upset, and the world's going to end because Elon Musk bought Twitter. Nope, we're still here. Are we sure he bought Twitter? Because there's literally nothing in the news about this. I'm looking at the news of the day right now, and it's all Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ukraine, others, COVID, missing people's bodies found. There's no mention of Elon Musk. There's more news stories directed to Asuka returning last night on Raw and challenging Becky Lynch than there is to Elon Musk buying Twitter. So are we sure he bought Twitter? Because I think that would be big news, right? Anyways, everybody and their dog seems to be upset because Elon Musk bought Twitter. The conservatives are concerned that Elon Musk will make Twitter more liberal and woke and more open to free speech and just let the green-haired D&D 5e players say whatever they want and bag on us older players, and oh God, how dare he. And the liberal individuals are afraid that he's going to make it more conservative and more lockdown and more Napoleonic and not let us say whatever we want about 5e and control everything we say. So apparently we all have found one thing we agree on. Both sides of the never-ending role-playing war seem to agree that they don't want Elon Musk controlling Twitter. Because either he's too conservative or he's too liberal. And I'm sure Elon Musk's response is, who are you people? I don't care. It's just another acquisition for me to get some more money. I'm Elon Musk. I need more money to put people in space. I don't know what Elon Musk talks like. I don't know. He could sound like that. I doubt he cares. When you have that kind of money, I think the concerns of people like us just don't matter to you. So yeah. Other D&D news. Well, I guess as predicted, the uprising and how dare you fingle wagging and oh my God, I'm so upset about Spelljammer is already over. We've moved on to this week's argument over whether player characters should be allowed to have pets or not in Dungeons & Dragons. I'm still seeing a few posts about people upset about Spelljammer and Dragonlance and how dare you, Wizards of the Coast, change an IP that hasn't been relevant for 20 years. Shame on you. But now it's, pets in D&D. So that was quick. We still have a few ones. This one I like. So, that during the thing, they announced that there was going to be some new stuff for the D&D Beyond acquisition. One of them is a digital monster manual featuring all the earthreal and astral monsters that they've come up with so far. This is in addition to the actual monster manual that's coming out with Spelljammer. So there's really two monster manuals for Spelljammer. Pretty much, I'm guessing they're going to be exactly the same, even though they have different names. This one's using the old Compendium to Monsters title. Do you remember that? It was those 3-ring binder monster manuals, and you could put them, there was a 3-ring binder, and then you could buy the little expansions and slip them into the 3-ring binder or take them out or use the ones you wanted. I kind of like that idea. So it was, I don't know how cost effective it was, which is probably why they ended it, but it was a clever idea because that way you could just pick and choose what monsters you wanted and have quick reference to, and the rest you could just keep in a file back home and not have to flip through 30 pages of monsters in the middle of the game to find the stats for a flump. So that is the re-release title, Companion of Monsters, and it's called The Guide to Monsters of the Astral, Earthreal, Spelljammer, whatever. It's all the monsters that are going to be in Spelljammer. And of course, there's also a Spelljammer monster manual that's coming in the slipcase. So people have gone online and posted that you can get the D&D Compendium of Space Monsters for free. You can get the D&D is making a new Compendium of Monsters, and it's free. Except, of course, 1, it's digital. 2, it's going to be on D&D Beyond. So the only way you can get this free monster manual is to download and install D&D Beyond and pay to get past the paywall. But if you do all that, then you will get a free monster manual that is containing all the monsters that will also be in the monster manual in the Spelljammer book. So yes, please go buy the Spelljammer slipcase and then also buy this digital version because Lord knows Wizards of the Coast needs more money. So to the individual who is posting that this new monster manual is going to be free, you are absolutely correct. It is going to be free as long as you download and install D&D Beyond and pay to get past the pay window. Then yes, it will be free. As will everything else that's past the pay window technically be free. Once you pay the pay window, sure, that'll be free, except for the stuff that you have to additionally pay for. But yeah, technically free. What else? Here we go. The 5e players who don't actually play 5e are saying that Wizards of the Coast has a bad business model. Again, we have this group of individuals who claim they're fans of 5e, and yet they consistently say horrible things about 5e, the game they supposedly love. And here's one saying, how Wizards of the Coast is a catastrophically bad business. This is the same individual who repeatedly talks about how much they love Wizards of the Coast and how much they love 5e and how we all have to switch to 5e. But now he's like, oh, well, Wizards of the Coast did something I don't agree with, so therefore they're horrible and their business model is bad. These are the same individuals who just a few days ago were finger waggling and going, look, Wizards of the Coast made Hasbro $8 billion. They're ruling the world. Everything they do is great. How dare you even whisper something bad about Wizards of the Coast? Now they're saying what Wizards of the Coast is doing is awful, and they have a horrible business model because, I don't know, they made less money this year than they did last year, and that's bad business because they bought D&D Beyond and they're converting everything to digital. That's bad business because they're blatantly said all the future products are going to be using this slipcase model. So you get, 3 books for the price of 1 plus a DM screen and a few props, but in exchange you're paying more money. You might not want the 3 books. I mean, look at the first slipcase, which was Tasha's, Volo's, and Mordenkainen's, and most of the people bought it because they either wanted Mordenkainen's and didn't want to wait 3 months, or they wanted the alternate cover and the slipcase DM screen. So if you already had Volo's and Tasha's, you just bought it again to get 1 book and an alternate cover and some art. And if you didn't already have Volo's and Tasha's, well, most of that stuff was free online, and then it would be cost effective to buy all 3. But if you were just buying it to get Mordenkainen's, you could have just waited 2 months because it's coming out in May. But now apparently it's a bad business module because they're going to make more money off of their books and charge you more for the books in exchange for the fact that it's really not cost effective anymore to just print a single book. And how dare they spend that money to buy D&D Beyond after they made so much money? Look how much money they made. They're such a great company, but now they're a horrible company. Look at the bad things they're doing. Oh, here's another one. How Journeys to the Radiant Citadel is amazing and changes D&D, and it's got all these great ideas. And you do realize it's not out yet. So how can you already judge it and say good or bad things about it if you haven't read it? Unless you somehow moved to the future in late June, got a copy, came back now, and are reviewing it, it's really sort of pointless to be saying anything about Radiant Citadel until you actually read it. Another one about how Wizards of the Coast is delivering classic settings to 5e, and they need to bring more of the classic settings to 5e. Of course, these are the same individuals who have just, a couple months ago were saying, don't bring the classic settings to D&D 5e. Ignore everything that TSR did. It's problematic. It's racist. It's sexist. It's homophobic. Just burn it. Ignore the fact that, as far as we're concerned, TSR didn't make anything. Only the stuff that Wizards of the Coast makes counts, and only the stuff that Wizards of the Coast makes for 5e counts. Nothing else counts. Only 5e is canon. You need to play 5e. You need to ignore 4e and 3e, even though they were made by Wizards of the Coast. You need to ignore anything that existed before 5th edition. Any other version of the game is awful, and you're an awful person if you play it. Now these same people are saying, bring more classic settings to 5th edition, because you're only doing these 2, Dragonlance and Spelljammer. Bring more classic settings, except, of course, there's a couple things wrong in that sentence, and because they have brought a couple other classic settings into 5th edition, I would just go on a limb and say Ravenloft, which they did twice as classic settings. So it's Ravenloft that they've already brought into 5e. Now we're getting Dragonlance, which I'm not even sure is a role-playing thing. It's being advertised like a skirmish game, and Spelljammer. And Radiant Citadel, which is technically Planescape, I think would also sort of count, but not really. What are some of the other classic settings? Well, Forgotten Realms has been brought up to 5th edition. In fact, the very first supplement for 5th edition was the Guide to the Sword Coast, and every adventure leading up to Rime of the Frost Maiden, not counting the magic adventures, is in the Forgotten Realms. And technically Strixhaven is also sort of in the Forgotten Realms, but not really, because it's part of the Magic universe. So literally everything they've published, with the exception of Ravenloft and the Magic the Gathering settings, are classic settings that have been brought into 5th edition. Of the settings that Wizards of the Coast TSR has created, Eberron, well, that's sort of been converted to 5th edition, and Keith Baker is still making stuff for Eberron. The Forgotten Realms, that's been converted to 5th edition, and Ed is still making stuff for the Forgotten Realms, both of which can be found on Drive-Thru. Ravenlofts has been brought to 4th edition. Now we're seeing Dragonlance and Spelljammer and technically Planescape. What else is there? Dark Sun? You want to see Dark Sun brought to 5th edition? Really? I mean, post-apocalyptic Dungeons and Dragons world with cannibalistic halflings and slavery? I mean, you can't do Dark Sun in today's mindset without radically changing it to just be, I don't know, what the woke, politically correct, safe version of Dark Sun would be. There wouldn't be an apocalypse because apocalypses are bad. The cannibalistic halflings would be gone because cannibalism bad. Slavery would definitely be gone because slavery bad. I don't know what else would be gone, but it would just be, a desert planet where there's Dark Sun 2022 would be D&D Vegas, I guess. I don't know. What else is there? Greyhawk? They can't do Greyhawk. I mean, I don't think they can do Greyhawks. I don't think we'll ever see a 5e version of Greyhawk, at least published by them, because, it's the Gygax brothers and the Gygax wife all have their fingers in Greyhawk. So, yeah, that leaves Birthright and the Hollow World stuff. So what settings do you want them to see in 5e that they haven't already done, because they've brought all the classic settings that they can to 5e? I mean, you want to see their science fiction stuff brought to 5e? Do you want to see some of the other things they made in the TSR days to 5e? You want to see Dallas the role-playing game converted to 5e? Because I think that's what we all really want. Gamma World? I don't even think they control Gamma World anymore. Phase Rip Marvel? No, they don't control that anymore. They lost that. What other TSR worlds are there that we could convert to 5e that they need to bring up to remain competitive? Why does Wizards of the Coast need to remain competitive? People keep saying they're number one and no other game counts, and they're going to buy Roll20, and they're going to buy Paizo, and they're going to buy Free League, and but then you're also saying, they need to worry about Free League, and they need to worry about Paizo, and they need to worry about D&D Beyond and buying 5e D&D Beyond and everything, but they need to do this. They need to do, I don't understand this. I get the individuals who are on the other side of the fence who are continuously angry at Wizards of the Coast choices and bagging on them. What I don't get is the individuals who claim they are fans of 5th edition, fans of Dungeons and Dragons, fans of Wizards of the Coast, and yet they're the ones who are mostly outspoken and saying stupid things like this. And then you read what they're posting and it's like, you didn't actually read this. I mean, literally to say Wizards of the Coast needs to bring all the classic settings into 5th edition when before you said they need to not bring them into 5th edition, and now you're acting like they haven't yet. But literally, you can just look at what Wizards of the Coast has converted to 5th edition, and, well, they're pretty much all the classic settings have been converted that they can convert. There's a few, like Greyhawk, they can't convert Greyhawk because I don't know who owns Greyhawk. Like 87 people have their fingers in Greyhawk. So, yeah, what do you want? Dark Sun? Birthright? Mithras? The Hollow World? What was that other one that came on a CD? I don't know. Gamma World? Make up your mind. Either Wizards of the Coast rules, 5e rules, and we all need to search to 5e, and Wizards of the Coast does nothing wrong, or Wizards of the Coast is having a bad business model and doing everything wrong. Make up your mind. Anything else going on in the world today since yesterday? If you want a hint of what we can expect at the D&D Dragonlance, you can head on over to Wizards of the Coast's playtest thing, because they've got the Heroes of Krynn thing still up. Other than that, yep. Elon Musk bought Twitter. Everybody's leaving Twitter, except you go to Twitter and you see that nobody has left Twitter. And, yeah. The world is still spinning. People are still angry about 5th edition on both sides of the fence. And nothing else is really going on today. So we'll be back with, I guess, a review or something. If you haven't had a chance, check out my review of the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, which right now isn't looking very great. Till next time, I am the OGGM, your problematic guide to all the nonsense that is tabletop role-playing game internet. I, for one, look forward to Tony Stark running Twitter. I mean, he can't make it any worse. Man, now, get off my digital landscape, you damn kids, with your damn Musk and your damn flying cars.